Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to break down everything that you will need in your postpartum journey from the minute you deliver your baby to the first few weeks of postpartum. I'm also going to be kind of breaking down everything that you actually need to purchase yourself and kind of be prepared with versus what the hospital is going to supply you with. I have like a bunch of things that I actually kept from the hospital to kind of show you in comparison to what you might be buying on your own, or if you can get away with not buying certain things. But yeah, I just thought this would be a very helpful video for first-time moms or just mothers who are unsure of or forgot what they'll actually need. I have had 3 vaginal deliveries in the last 4 years, so I'm pretty good at knowing what at least worked for me and what I really needed versus the things that I didn't need and I kind of wish I wouldn't have bought. So like I said, I did have vaginal deliveries. I'm not sure if you need the same things for C-section. I'm assuming you would. These are pretty staple postpartum things. And also I'm going to be diving into a little bit of breastfeeding put into that. So if you're a breastfeeding mama, I'm going to show you like your go-to products that you need as well for your postpartum and those first few weeks getting the hang of breastfeeding. If you're interested in seeing everything that you need for your postpartum journey, then just keep watching. Okay, so starting with right after you deliver your baby, the first thing that they're going to supply you with are giant pads. They're actually, I have one right here, these green bed liner pads, and they fold them up so that they look like a really big pad. They kind of do it like this. So it's a huge pad, and they'll put it in a pair of mesh underwear that they supply you with. And for me, that works great the first few hours. You're bleeding a lot. It's kind of nasty, a little bit messy. And they're also pushing on you, doing fundal massages. So for the first few hours, I do use that until I switch over to adult diapers, which is my first must-have for postpartum for new moms, or just if you're curious on what you actually need to get. I really suggest buying the adult diapers. I will leave in the description below the exact ones that I've used with my last 2 pregnancies. With my first one, my daughter, I did not use those. I just used the mesh underwear they supplied, and everything was fine. You just have to buy your own pads, you know, to put in them once you get home. But they worked great. So if you don't want to spend the money, I do understand that. But for me, they were a necessity with my last 2. They make it so easy, so much more comfortable. They're not as bulky. And then instead of having to take them kind of apart and readjust every time you need to change your pad, you can just take it off and just slide a new one on. It makes it really convenient, really easy, and I just feel like they're more comfortable and they don't feel like you have so much blood sitting on you, because even though these absorb and regular pads absorb, those are just meant to absorb more. I don't know how many times I can say absorb. But yeah, the adult diapers were my first must-have, and again, I will leave it down below the exact ones I used. And then going into things that they'll supply you with after the pad, you're gonna need a perineal pack. I see a lot of people buy these from Mom Frida. I personally don't think you need to buy them. The hospital does supply you with them, and you can always ask for more to go home. With my first daughter, I tore, so I did use them a little bit longer. With my son and my last daughter, I only used them for a day or 2, so it wouldn't have been worth buying a bunch with them. But this is the one they give you in the hospital. It looks just like the Mom Frida. You just crack it and then shake it. So again, this is something I personally would not buy because your hospital is going to supply it, but you will need it, and you can always ask, like I said, for some to take home. The next thing is a perineal like cleaning bottle, and this is the Mom Frida. I do suggest getting one of these because of the spout. It actually goes like this. You fill it with water, you turn it up, and when you squeeze it, it just cleans you so much better. It gets right in there. They do supply you with a bottle though at the hospital, so if you don't want to spend your money, they will give you one. It's just a straight bottle, so it's a little bit harder to squeeze and clean down there, where again, this one just shoots right up. So I do think this is a must-have and worth your money, especially if this is your first delivery and you know you're gonna have more kids. This one will definitely, you'll get your money's worth out of it. So I will again leave this in the bottom bar along with everything else, but I think this with the adult diapers are my 2 first like must-have postpartum care products. And then my last type of like perineal care type thing that with my daughter I purchased the first time, and then my last 2 I did not because they supply you, are these witch hazel little hygiene hemorrhoid pads. This is the one that the hospital will give you. The packaging might look different at your hospital. With my first one, it did look a little different, and this is just the new packaging. They come with 100 pads. You're not gonna need 100 pads, so I would skip out buying these. Again, your hospital will supply them along with Dermaplast. I bought that my last time. I did not end up using it at all. I know people swear by that, so that might be something you want to consider. You can always return it, but for me, I wouldn't buy these pads. I would just get them from your hospital along with the ice packs, and then call it a day. But you will need these the first like day, depending if you tear, maybe a little bit longer, and they do feel good, but you don't need it any more than the amount that they're going to give you. So Okay, so jumping into like the next type of items after you deliver your baby and like not dealing with down there, you are gonna have to purchase these things, and these are now where I'm getting into like my must-haves. And the first one is a good nipple cream if you plan on breastfeeding. I've always used the Medela one, but this time I went ahead and tried this one and it worked the exact same. I think it's the exact same ingredients. Lanolin, I can never say that, but we are gonna need a good nipple cream right off the bat. So this is definitely a postpartum must-have if you plan on breastfeeding. Another thing I think for postpartum that personally for me, I have to have it, are these little like tummy bands. This one the hospital gave me my first time and I just kept it, but the last 2 times they did not give me one. So you might wanna purchase one on your own just in case, but it's not even to like get snatched back or anything like that. It's just you feel so loose that these really feel good after you deliver. So all 3 of my pregnancies, I really needed a belly band. It kind of helped me feel more put together and everything, not like hanging and jiggly. I don't know, I really like this, so I definitely would get a belly band. You're also gonna need, this is so random, but a good deodorant, because after you deliver, and even like now my baby's 3 months, I'm still dealing with all the postpartum hormone changes and stuff. Your BO can be really bad. So make sure you invest in a good deodorant. This one is my favorite, the Native deodorant. You can get this at like Target, Walmart, Amazon. It's an all natural one, surprisingly, but it works really, really well. And it really helps combat like that postpartum smell that a lot of women tend to get. I know TMI, but a lot of women get it. Some other things that I think are postpartum necessities that you need to purchase are different size pads. I should have, I guess, put this in with all the perinatal care, but after you like graduate from your adult diapers, this is actually one from the hospital, like a size from the hospital. They gave me a pack. You're gonna go from kind of larger pads and taper down. So what I suggest doing is getting like a small box of really thick ones, then a medium flow, and then ton of the thin panty liners, because after you get rid of that heavy flow, the first few weeks, you will kind of spot here and there for a long time. So I wore the panty liners, I mean, to be honest, I still do now just to make sure I'm like clean and hygienic, but you wear the panty liners for a long time. So definitely when you're getting your adult diaper, stock up on a few different size pads. So as you go through that postpartum period, you have them handy. And if you need a thicker one day, you have them, or a thinner one, you know, you just want different sizes because your blood flow will eventually taper down and change and go away. Another postpartum thing for breastfeeding especially that you will need is this breast friend pillow. It looks just like this. It's messy, but it's a little bit different than the normal boppy, where the boppy, it's comfortable, but when you're breastfeeding, it doesn't have as much support as you really need. Where this, you put it around you and then you strap it. You can't really see my camera, but it's way more firm and flat, and the baby can really just lay there and like latch perfectly onto your nipple. It's just way more comfortable for you and the baby and for your back. I think breastfeeding went way easier once I had this. With my first, I saw a lactation consultant soon after I delivered, and she suggested this pillow, and it was night and day once I switched to this from the boppy. So this is definitely a postpartum must-have for me, especially like I said, if you are breastfeeding. So my overall like must-have out of all this stuff is actually a haka, and this kind of goes along only if you're breastfeeding again. But basically while you're feeding on one side, you will attach this to the other, and it catches so much milk. I think it helps with your milk supply. It helps not leak everywhere. And it also helps with engorgement because you're always letting a little bit out. So every time someone suggests like what they need, I always say a haka if you plan on breastfeeding. And even like later on down your breastfeeding journey, when I was having to pump when I was doing rotations or my clinicals in the hospital, I would be pumping on my right side because all of my kids have only ever done one breast at a time. And then I put this on my left, and you get like 2 or 3 ounces even further into your breastfeeding journey, and then you can just add it to the amount you pumped on the other side, and you have like a full bottle or whatever, enough to stash. But yeah, a haka is definitely my top must-have if you are planning on breastfeeding for postpartum. Like, you will use this all day, every day, so get a few of them. So I feel like we've tackled all the breastfeeding things as well as like the perineal body type care. So I'm gonna move on to a few staples like for yourself, and for me that is a few button-down pajamas, like nightgowns. I really like the Autumn ones from Target. They're so soft, but you're gonna need those from the minute you deliver. And then again, the first like few months while you're just at home and cuddling with the baby, and especially if you're breastfeeding again, it's easy access. And then also in the hospital, it's really easy for the nurses to check your blood and discharge and then like do the fundal massage, because they don't have to lift really anything up or pull your pants down or anything. They can just kind of like do it real quick, check, and then put your dress back down. and then just more comfortable. Like they make you feel a little bit put together. So I definitely suggest getting some sleeping nightgowns as well as some cute button-down pajamas just to like feel better. This is not a necessity for me personally. It's like one of the first things that I end up buying when I find out I'm pregnant because I just know that I will want them. Again, the Autumn brand at Target or the Stars Above are great. They're very soft. I get like their silk matching ones, but just those first few weeks while you're lounging at the house, again, they make you feel a little bit more put together. It's easy access for breastfeeding the baby, and they're just comfortable. So I know they make you feel, like I said, just a little bit better, more comfortable, and a little matching set will kind of help you when you're not feeling the best. Going back to the hospital, I'm sorry, I'm like jumping all over the place, but you actually, a postpartum must-have is having a long phone charger cord, because when you're in the bed and you have to plug in your phone, they're not right there, as well as flip-flops. I should have included that. I'm like now kind of backtracking on little things that I forgot, but you're definitely gonna need that postpartum. Okay, my last two things, they go along with kind of the pajamas, going back to that, are a really good robe, actually several robes. You're gonna kind of switch because you're gonna get throw up on them, or you know, bodily fluids, whatever. But again, it's just something comfortable, easy to throw on, easy access for breastfeeding, and then it's easy access for the nurse in the hospital. When you're home, it's just comfortable. You don't have to like worry about taking your pants on and off to switch your pad, or again, for the nurse to do your fundal massage. So definitely, personally for me, I think a robe is a necessity. Get a few cozy ones, and then also a good nursing bra. Again, this is only if you're breastfeeding, but you are gonna want a good nursing bra. I would get the ones that buckle right here, like the traditional ones, as well as some sleeping ones. The Autumn ones, again, are great. You can get a 2-pack, and they're the ones where you can just kind of slide over for easy access at night. So those are my last must-have for postpartum. If I forget anything, I will leave it down in the description bar along with everything that I've talked about. I'm sorry this video is a little bit fast. My son is not taking that long of a nap these days, and my baby one is awake, and my 4-year-old doesn't nap. So I'm trying to kind of rush through. That is everything. But yeah, again, if I forget anything, I will leave it down below along with everything that I've talked about. And I hope this video helped you. If you're a first-time mom, you're about to be postpartum or have your baby and go through this whole little new journey, if you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'd be happy to answer them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.